Tonight, the world is holding its breath. The Middle East has been thrown into chaos after a coordinated and unprecedented military assault on Iran by the United States and Israel. But beyond the explosions rocking Tehran, a deeper conflict is raging, an information war. For hours, headlines and official statements have been locked in a dizzying cycle of claims and denials over one monumental question. Is Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, dead? One side claims a decisive victory, asserting the 86-year-old leader has been eliminated. The other is crying propaganda, a form of psychological warfare meant to cripple the Islamic Republic. The truth has been buried under an avalanche of speculation and misinformation. So, what really happened in the heart of Tehran? We're about to break down the hidden details of the attack, the timeline of conflicting reports, and what the potential death of the Middle East's longest-serving head of state means for Iran and for the world. Chapter 1: The Strikes and the American Claim. It all kicked off on Saturday, February 28, 2026, when the United States and Israel launched a massive, multi-pronged military operation, with strikes reported in as many as 24 provinces across Iran. Satellite imagery released in the aftermath showed that a secure compound in Tehran, associated with the supreme leader, had sustained heavy damage. Soon after, the claims began. U.S. President Donald Trump was first to make a definitive statement, announcing on social media that Ayatollah Khamenei was dead. He called it justice for the people of Iran and asserted that the goal was to achieve peace throughout the Middle East. Trump added that Khamenei had been unable to evade highly sophisticated tracking systems used in coordination with Israel. A senior American intelligence official also reportedly confirmed the supreme leader's death to CBS News. Trump later told news outlets he felt the story of Khamenei's death was correct, adding that a large amount of leadership in Iran had been killed. Chapter 2: Israeli Statements and Mounting Signs. The American assertions were quickly echoed by their Israeli counterparts. In a televised address, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu didn't give absolute confirmation, but painted a very clear picture. He announced that Israeli forces had destroyed Khamenei's residence and that there were many signs the dictator was gone. Behind the scenes, Israeli officials were reportedly more direct. Sources told major news outlets, like Reuters and the Associated Press, that Israel had confirmed Khamenei's death and that his body had been found in the rubble of his compound. One report even claimed that Prime Minister Netanyahu had been shown an image of the body after it was recovered. Chapter 3: Tehran's Propaganda War. As claims from Washington and Tel Aviv flooded the airwaves, Tehran began to fight back, but its response was fractured and contradictory. Initially, a wall of denial went up. Iranian officials slammed the reports of Khamenei's death, psychological warfare by the enemy. The head of publicity for the Supreme Leader's office even urged citizens on social media to beware of the enemy's propaganda. Iran's semi-official news agencies published reports claiming Khamenei was steadfast and firm in commanding the field, but offered no pictures or videos to prove it. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi gave a cagey statement to NBC, saying that as far as he knew, Khamenei was alive. Another official told ABC News that both the Supreme Leader and the President were safe and sound. This initial, forceful denial campaign was meant to project stability, suggesting the leadership was unshaken. But with no personal appearance from Khamenei himself, the speculation only grew louder. Chapter 4: The Stunning Announcement and Lingering Doubt. Then, in a shocking reversal that contradicted its own officials, Iranian state media flipped the script. On Sunday, March 1st, both state television and the official IRNA news agency reported that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was in fact dead. The government declared a 40-day period of public mourning for the martyrdom of the 86-year-old leader. Some outlets, like the semi-official Fars news agency, added that Khamenei was killed in his office at the moment of the attack. It was also reported that his daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter were killed in the strikes. But even with this official confirmation from Iran's own state-run media, a deep sense of uncertainty hangs in the air. The chaotic timeline, from angry denials and accusations of mental warfare to a sudden, formal announcement of death, has led many to question the entire narrative. For hours, the world was trapped between two completely opposite stories, and getting independent verification remains almost impossible. The truth is a casualty of an information war, where competing narratives fought for control in the critical hours after the attack. This story is developing at a dizzying pace, with new information coming out by the hour. To stay on top of the latest analysis on the fallout from these strikes and the power vacuum in Iran, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. At 86 years old, he had been the supreme leader since 1989, making him the longest-serving head of state in the Middle East. This is only the second time the Islamic Republic has had to face a leadership transition since it was founded in 1979. Born in Mashhad in 1939, Khamenei rose through the ranks after the revolution, serving as president during the brutal Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. His selection as supreme leader to succeed Ayatollah Khamenei came as a surprise to some and was made possible by political maneuvering and a change to the constitution that lowered the religious qualifications for the job. For over 3 decades, he held the ultimate authority over every part of the country, from the military and foreign policy to the courts and security services. He oversaw Iran's transformation into a highly centralized theocracy, where power was concentrated in unelected bodies loyal to him, especially the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC. Under his watch, Iran pursued a confrontational foreign policy, built up its network of proxy forces across the region, and advanced its nuclear program, which led to decades of sanctions and international isolation. His death is a massive blow to the very system he built and leaves a void at the absolute center of Iranian power. Chapter 6: The Succession Crisis and a Future Unknown. With Khamenei gone, Iran is now staring down a huge succession crisis. According to the Iranian constitution, a group called the Assembly of Experts is supposed to choose the next supreme leader. This 88-member council of senior clerics must now meet to pick a successor. But the process is anything but transparent. The Assembly's members are vetted by the powerful Guardian Council, whose own members are appointed or influenced by the supreme leader. In the meantime, a temporary 3-member council, made up of the president, the head of the judiciary, and a senior cleric is supposed to take over his duties. But with airstrikes continuing, it's not clear if the Assembly of Experts can even meet. This has led to speculation that the IRGC might try to force a successor to be appointed outside of the constitutional rules. One name that has long been part of the succession conversation is Khamenei's own son, Mojtaba Khamenei, who is thought to wield major influence with security forces and the IRGC. However, there is no guaranteed heir, and Khamenei's death will likely trigger intense rivalries within Iran's political and military elite. Some analysts believe this transition could lead to an even more militarized leadership, with the IRGC taking on more formal power. What started with explosions over Tehran has now plunged a nation of nearly 90 million people into a state of absolute limbo. The claims and counterclaims around Ayatollah Khamenei's death have shown just how intense the information war running alongside the military conflict really is. And while Iranian state media has now confirmed he's gone, the chaotic and contradictory way the news broke reveals a regime under an unprecedented level of strain. Now, a dangerous power vacuum has opened up. The succession battle that's about to unfold could decide not just Iran's future, but the direction of its foreign policy, its nuclear program, and the balance of power across the entire Middle East. No one knows for sure who will come out on top, or if the Islamic Republic, as we know, it can even survive this. But one thing is certain: the events of the last 48 hours will be shaping the region for years to come. If this video helped you understand the truth behind conflicting reports and what this moment means for the Middle East, subscribe and hit LIK to support real news analysis. Then drop a comment. What do you think will shape the next chapter of this conflict? We read every response, and your voice matters here. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and commenting on our video. May God bless us all and grant us world peace.